Y'all, oh my goodness. Welcome to today's German Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos and recaps. Oh my goodness, y'all! We found out who the killer is today. I did not see that coming from 1,000 miles away. I have to say, I don't get surprised a lot on German Hospital. Actually, as of late, I do, which I quite like. But this was just... So let's get right to it, because I know you're like, tell me what's going on. But first, the winner for last week for best tumultuous relationship is Christina M. Parker, and the honorable mention is Alexis M. Parker. No, Alexis and Christina. That's how much my mind is just in a million places. But do we see a common denominator there? But let's get right to it, because I just can't. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. So at Lante's, I know, we gotta get through stuff before we find out the exciting stuff. Bear with me. So at Lante's, Lulu is on the phone with someone. She wants to know what was recovered from the Crichton-Clark explosion, and it's a beautiful house. Robert stops by and assures her Luke is fine, and oh, by the way, the person on the phone, not too receptive. So Lulu is more accepting of her father traveling and staying away than Dante seems to be, and he also, Robert gives her a warning about Valentine Cassadine, and again, they're like, hey, a little too late, but Luke is concerned about an escape, and that Valentine would be headed right for the Spencers, and Dante's like, well, Valentine seemed to have issue with the Cassadines, not the Spencers. He hates his own family. And Lulu asks Robert to look into if something survived the Crichton-Clark explosion, her embryo. You know, I don't know, Dante doesn't seem too happy about that, but he'll support her because, like, he's a good person, but, like, it's not his cup of tea. At the MetroCorps, Ava warns Hayden that Liz is after her, has something on her, the diamonds. So Ava gives her a hard time about her diamonds. Don't you mean the government's diamonds? Okay. Like Ava would have handed those diamonds over to the government. And like Ava wasn't trying to get her hands on those diamonds. Okay. So Ava tells her that they were shipped in the box, and is also like, hey, why don't you focus more on the fact that she has the diamonds rather than how she got the diamonds. And Hayden thinks like she's done for. This is it. She should just sleep down. But then it hits her. No one's come for me yet. She hasn't given the diamonds over, and she heads off to get to Elizabeth. So at the PCPD, Andre brought Jordan a book he had on collectible currency, and after Andre leaves, Jordan tells the patrolman she has a new rock to turn over, something about collectibles. So Ava arrives at the PCPD, and Jordan wants to talk to her about a murder, and Ava's like, I'm gonna get my lawyer, you have no right, da 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 da. And Jordan's like, no, about your art expertise. Like, you're not a person of interest. I'm interested in what you know. So she shows her the picture of the cufflink and asks if Ava, if it looks familiar at all. And Ava does seem to recognize it. Apparently they were big in the New York market a few years ago because of 300. And Jordan's like, wasn't that Spartans? And Ava's like, yeah, it doesn't matter to some people. So they attracted very showy and rich men, and Ava believes that she's seen them around town on someone, but she can't place who. And Jordan and Ava both seem to recognize them, but cannot place who. So who is a common denominator there? We'll see. At the hospital, Liz calls Jordan, and you know what? No, I'm gonna save that one till the end. At the place, I don't remember the name, but it's where Heather's being held. Again, if anyone remembers the name, please enlighten me, because honestly, between Ferncliff and Shady Brook, and I know this place at some maximum security, it's just over my head. Heather tells Franco Naomi pays her to keep quiet about her relationship with Jeff Weber, and Franco wants to know everything, but Heather doesn't want to lose out on her money because, you know, she's opened her mouth to someone. So they play the possible, not possible game, which quickly devolves into Heather just telling him the story. So when she was stalking Jeff Weber, she found out about his secret relationship, a secret affair with a very married Naomi Berlin, and he was very married too. So Heather found a positive pregnancy test when she was creeping around Naomi's place, and Franco doesn't get it. He's like, wait, Naomi's Elizabeth's mother? And Heather's like, no, 3 Weber girls. And Jeff doesn't even know about one. Hayden is Elizabeth's sister. Just says it straight out. So Naomi agreed never to see Jeff again and pay Heather to keep quiet, and the payment wasn't the $1.5 million Heather has. She invested the money, and that's, you know. So that's with the investment. So Franco wants to go tell Elizabeth, and Heather's like, no, we can't lose leverage. And Franco's like, no, it's more important that Elizabeth knows that she has a sister that she hates. And now, let's go back to the hospital, because this is the moment we have all been waiting for like months. So let's get right to it. So Elizabeth calls Jordan and tells her that she has evidence against Hayden, and then Dr. Finn comes around the corner and she's like, I can't, I'm not alone, I can't speak freely, I'll go to the PCPD later. And Jordan's like, okay, but you know, Elizabeth could have just walked a little bit further and was like, I have diamonds, and I don't know, maybe Jordan, can you come over here? I don't know, I feel like there was a better way to do that, but you know what, whatever. So Finn asks why she's visiting the police later, and Elizabeth makes up a story about dropping something off for Dante and Lulu at the new house, but you know, she's gonna drop it off at the PCPD because he works there, and Finn thought maybe she had a lead with the hospital killer because he has a vested interest in that. Well, as they all do. So Finn tells Monica he'd like to file a complaint against a staff member, Obrecht. And Obrecht apparently came to see Monica and told her to fire Finn because of his travels on Sonny Corinthos' plane. And, you know, Monica stood up for him, but she says that Obrecht has a little bit of a point. Like, he's been less than forthcoming, so it might be in his best interest to try to fly under the radar for a while. So Andre's at the hospital, and apparently patient, 1023 is coding, so that's probably the hospital room. I don't know. When there's numbers, I like to put the numbers in. So Andre is administering chest compressions, and we've lost another patient, but it's because of the hospital killer, or is it just, hey, we're in a hospital, sometimes people die? So Andre says that they were just talking, and all of a sudden he started complaining that his chest hurt, and then he passed out and started, like, the machine started freaking out. So he kind of incriminates himself a little, saying that nobody else came in the room and killed him, he was the only one in there, and everyone's like, but at the same time, if he was a killer, that would be like a stupid thing to say, unless he's trying to, like, you know, put suspicion somewhere else. But, like, I don't know, it'd be a weird and tricky strategy, but hey, I'm not in the head of a killer. So Paul is called, and Andre knows he's a suspect now, and he wants a lawyer, and he's calling Jordan. And Finn's like, hey, hang in there, trust me, no one's more empathetic than me. And Paul's like, yeah, why don't we chill on that for a second? Well, let's see if the guy was murdered first, and then we'll deal with the fact if you're a suspect or not. So Hayden shows up, and Hayden tells Elizabeth that she knows she has the diamonds, and she wants them back now. And she's not nice about it, and I'm sorry, if someone has super incriminating evidence on you, why don't you try to be nice? And be like, hey, wanna be besties? Can you not turn me into the police? Hey. But no, she takes the opposite approach. So Hayden calls Liz out on deceiving Jason, basically that whole thing, and then says Nicholas would be alive if it weren't for her. Bit of a stretch, but you know, Nicholas was already on his dark route, whether or not Elizabeth was in it or not. So Finn hears some of this, and then Liz goes a bit far and says, too bad there isn't family prison so you can be with your father, and Hayden smacks her. I probably would have too, but you know, I'm honestly on both their sides when it comes to that one. So Finn separates them. Hayden tells Finn to leave her alone because according to him, there's nothing between them, there's no friendship. And Elizabeth walks into a conference room to talk to Monica, and Paul's in the room. And then, you know, they talk for a second, like he's like, oh yeah, I was looking for Monica too. And 1 second. I had to do a spoiler warning to someone in the house since they fell asleep during today's episode. So when Elizabeth leaves the room, it's revealed that Paul has a glove on and is holding a syringe. What? So I was like, okay, what if he's like planting prints on the syringe, but what reason would he have to do that unless he's the killer? Is Paul the hospital killer? Is Paul the hospital killer? What? Is Paul the hospital killer? It seems so. So, end scene. Lulu wants Robert to check the WSB inventory of the explosion. Dante seems bothered, and after Robert leaves, she asks Dante if he's mad at her, and he says he supports her, but I'm not buying it. Franco shows up to the hospital looking for Elizabeth. The nurse says she just left, but she didn't. She's still in the hospital. She's just trying to get downstairs, because it's a very difficult task today. So Finn says that to Hayden that he didn't mean it, and Hayden rushes off to stop Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's still there at the hospital, and you know, the elevator will not come fast enough, so she's taking the stairs. Ava is looking at the picture of the cufflink, and then she remembers seeing them on Paul. So now we have our second in-your-face clue that the hospital killer is Paul? Like, where did that come from? So Paul is concerned that Elizabeth saw him, even though she probably wouldn't think anything of it, and Elizabeth is in the staircase. So Monica tells Andre the patient didn't die of poisoning. He was taking something he shouldn't have, and the patient died of natural causes. The lights go off from the staircase. Actually, the lights go off everywhere. There is a power outage at the hospital, and Elizabeth attempts to use her phone as a flashlight, and then she is pushed down the stairs. And I did not see that coming from a mile away. What has happened today? Monday? This is obviously going to be a super exciting week, which I should have seen coming since I'm not going to be here. Because remember, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know that when I go away or I can't film, it's always one of the most exciting weeks of the year. So there we go. The pattern is still holding, and I'm glad I was able to bring this all to you by planning my vacation. So that is it for today's General Hospital recap, and I will see you tomorrow for General Hospital, and that's the last day for like 6 days. And it just occurred to me that I'm going to have to catch up on 6 episodes the night I come back, so I'm good for Thursday, which will be a later upload since I do have work, because I come home and it's boom, right back into it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to save my sleep until the weekend, or sleep on the train. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So, oh my God, the hospital killer! Was your mind as blown as mine? Because I'm just like, I think this week is like plot twist of the week, or else you know, well, oh my goodness. Okay, I have to stop now, or I'm just gonna keep going on. So I hope you have a great day, and oh my goodness, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.